Welcome back, Wolfpack. Today's lesson is 16.1, justifying the circumference and area of a circle. We're still on our circles unit, and a lot of this information is stuff that you have learned in the past, so we're just kind of refreshing and maybe extending it a little bit. Hopefully by the end of the lesson, you are able to find the circumference and area of a circle, and maybe even the diameter and radius. So first of all, as a review, the circumference is another word for the perimeter, but only when dealing with circles. Circumference is the perimeter of a circle. So it's the distance around the outside, or the length around the outside. The formula for circumference is 2 pi r, also known as pi d, because 2 times r is equal to the diameter, okay? So if I take the radius and I double it, I have the diameter, okay? The formula for area of a triangle is pi r squared. So with the area of a circle, you're going to have to know the radius because the formula is pi r squared. So if you have the diameter of the circle, you'll need to cut that diameter in half so you have the radius. That way that you are able to square it. Okay, so make sure that you have those formulas committed to memory. You will need those, and we'll use those again and again. When we approximate pi, we use 3.14 or 22/7 instead of the pi button. If you have your scientific calculator, you can use the pi button. Otherwise, we can use 22/7 or 3.14, which is a little bit more common. If you're working something out on paper, 3.14 is probably the easiest and probably what you see used the majority of the time, which is quite fine. As I mentioned in class, though, earlier, you need to wait until the end of the problem before you round. If we round every time we do a step, our final answer is going to be slightly off. So you want to make sure you get to the very end of your answer and then round the final answer. Okay? So let's do a few problems. Example number 1, a Ferris wheel has a diameter of 56 feet. How far will a rider travel during a 3-minute ride if the wheel rotates once every 20 seconds? So first of all, we have to figure out if I'm in this little blue car, and I want to figure out how far I've gone in one time around. So I'm going to find the circumference. So before we do anything else, we have to find the circumference of this Ferris wheel. So the formula for circumference is pi d, or 2 pi r. Nothing wrong with just using pi d, especially since they gave us the diameter, and they specifically told us to use 22/7 for pi. So the circumference is 22/7 times the diameter, which is 56. And when you work this out, the circumference is 176 feet. 176 feet. So if I were to go on the Ferris wheel one time around, I would travel 176 feet because that's the circumference of the Ferris wheel. However, the problem says that it's a 3-minute ride and it rotates once every 20 seconds. So if we have 3 minutes, how many seconds are in 1 minute? Hopefully you know that it's 60 seconds is in 1 minute. That's 180 seconds. So if it rotates every 20 seconds, so I divide that by 20, 180 divided by 20 is 9. So in 3 minutes, I can go around the Ferris wheel 9 times. So I'm not traveling at 176 feet. I'm traveling 176 feet 9 times. So 176 times 9 is 1,584 feet. And that is the distance you would travel. So I'm sure a lot of you were good with finding the circumference of the Ferris wheel. But keep in mind, we're now in geometry, so it's going to be extending your problem a little bit more. Thinking through this part, how many times it was rotating total was a little tricky, but I'm sure you guys got it and you won't have an issue. Let's do one more problem. Example number 2. The circumference of a tree is 20 feet. What is its diameter? Round to the nearest tenth, and they want us to use 3.14. So first of all, start off the problem by writing your formula. Circumference is pi d. And we're actually going to be looking for the diameter. Okay, so we're going to plug in what we know. The circumference is 20 feet. Pi, they want us to use 3.14. And I'm looking for the diameter. Well, this is just like solving any other problem. I want to get diameter by itself. So what am I going to do? I'm going to divide both sides by 3.14, since that's what they said to use for pi. So 20 divided by 3.14, excuse me, to the nearest 10, the diameter is 6.4 feet. And that's your final answer. Okay? I know these two problems are kind of basic, hopefully not very hard at all. I have a lot of faith in you guys. We'll do examples 3, 4, and 5 in class. But again, a couple of things you're going to have to know. The circumference is 2 pi r or pi d. Either of those are fine. Okay? The area is pi r squared. So a lot of people like to use 2 pi r because it gives them the radius, which you need the radius for area. But either one is fine. If we are looking for the diameter, we take the radius and double it, or if we have the diameter and we cut it in half, that gives us the radius. Okay, so just some shortcuts there. But I think you guys got it, and I will see you next class. Have a great weekend.